Flash floods are sweeping cars and people through Greek streets right now. Multiple fatalities. Communities across 6 regions face direct threats as fast-moving water turns roads into deadly torrents. This Wednesday evening, emergency responders in Glyfada, a southern suburb of Athens, arrived at a scene that illustrates the brutal power of flash flooding. A woman was killed after being struck by a car, not a traffic accident. The vehicle itself had been carried along by fast-moving floodwaters, sweeping her and several other cars down the streets like debris. Here's the stark reality. This isn't an isolated incident. Earlier that same day, a 53-year-old Hellenic Coast Guard officer died in Paralio Astros, northern Peloponnese. He was on foot patrol, attempting to moor a boat at the local port, a routine task, a trained professional executing standard maritime procedures. Then a powerful wave swept him into the sea. The fall caused a fatal head injury. A Coast Guard officer, someone who understood maritime dangers, who had likely faced rough seas before, killed by the sheer force of the weather system now gripping Greece. 2 deaths, 1 day, different locations across the country. Same cause, a severe weather system delivering intense rainfall, thunderstorms, heavy snowfall in elevated areas, and gale-force winds that refuse to relent. The threat is specific and immediate. Civil protection authorities have placed 6 regions on high alert and mobilization status. The Peloponnese, where the Coast Guard officer died, central Greece, the greater Athens area, Attica, where the Glyfada victim was killed. Thessaly, the northern Aegean, Western Macedonia, 6 entire regions, millions of residents facing the same weather assault. Emergency SMS alerts went out to residents in Athens, Viosha, and Evia with a clear directive: limit unnecessary movement. Think about what that means. Authorities using emergency alert systems to tell people to stay home, not a recommendation. A warning backed by 2 deaths and mounting evidence of systemic danger. Picture this: you're in your home in northeast Athens. Your phone buzzes with an emergency alert. Outside, rain hammers against windows with unnatural intensity. The fire brigade is handling numerous calls for water pumping in suburbs like Papagou and Halargos. Water is rising in basements, ground floors, streets. The drainage systems can't keep up. In Agios Dimitrios, southern Athens, authorities evacuated 3 homes near an overflowing stream as a precaution. Families forced to leave with whatever they could carry because the water won't stop rising. These aren't abstract threats. These are active emergency operations happening right now across the Athens metropolitan area. Before we continue, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the notification bell to keep you updated. Here's how the mechanism works. Intense rainfall overwhelms drainage systems designed for normal conditions. Streets become channels funneling water downhill. The water accumulates velocity as it flows. Vehicles lose traction, their weight becoming irrelevant against the hydraulic force. They drift, then accelerate, becoming projectiles weighing thousands of pounds. People caught outside face forces they cannot resist. The human body cannot withstand the impact of a car moving at any speed. The Glyfada fatality proves this deadly equation. The Coast Guard death reveals another dimension of this weather system's power. Waves strong enough to sweep a trained officer off a port. That requires tremendous force. Wave surges during severe weather don't follow predictable patterns. They strike suddenly. The officer was mooring a boat, a task that requires proximity to the water's edge. One moment of exposure, one powerful wave, fatal consequences. Right now, the weather system continues its assault across Greece. Authorities expect conditions to persist until Thursday afternoon. That means communities face additional hours of this threat, more rainfall accumulating on already saturated ground, more flooding potential in areas where drainage is compromised, more risk for anyone who ventures outside. The timeline matters. Wednesday evening into Thursday afternoon. That's roughly 18 to 20 hours of continued severe weather. 18 hours where emergency services must remain mobilized. Where families in evacuation zones must stay displaced. Where the potential for additional casualties exists with every passing hour. The question is whether emergency services can reach everyone who needs help. The fire brigade is already stretched across Athens' northeast suburbs, handling water pumping operations. Evacuation orders are active in the south. Coast Guard operations along affected coastlines are either suspended or operating under dangerous conditions. 6 entire regions remain on high alert, each requiring coordination, resources, and rapid response capabilities. This is systematic, widespread danger, affecting multiple municipalities simultaneously. Scientists tracking severe weather systems understand the cascading effects of intense rainfall. Soil saturation reduces absorption capacity. Water tables rise. Streams and rivers swell beyond banks. Urban infrastructure faces loads it wasn't designed to handle. The evacuation near the overflowing stream in Agios Dimitrios demonstrates this progression. Water accumulates upstream. Channels overflow. Structures near waterways face direct threats. Communities across Greece face a stark reality. Nature doesn't negotiate. Fast-moving floodwater doesn't distinguish between vehicles and people. Powerful waves don't spare trained professionals. The 2 deaths on Wednesday demonstrate what happens when severe weather meets populated areas without adequate warning or protection. Emergency responders are working through the night across affected regions. Firefighters pumping water from flooded structures in Papagou and Halargos. Evacuation teams securing homes in Agios Dimitrios. Coast Guard operations modified or suspended along coastlines experiencing dangerous wave conditions. Civil protection authorities monitoring conditions across 6 regions, coordinating responses, issuing alerts. The entire infrastructure of emergency response is fully activated. For residents in affected areas, the directive is clear and unambiguous. Stay inside unless absolutely necessary. The streets of Glyfada showed what happens when people encounter flash flooding. The coast of Paralio Astros demonstrated the power of wave surges during severe weather. These aren't warnings about theoretical dangers. These are lessons written in 2 fatalities on a single day. The gale-force winds compound every other threat. Wind-driven rain reduces visibility. Flying debris creates additional hazards. Waves intensify under wind pressure. Heavy snowfall in elevated areas means mountainous regions face different but equally serious dangers. This weather system attacks from multiple directions simultaneously. Will Thursday afternoon bring the promised relief, or will conditions worsen before they improve? Will emergency services discover additional casualties as floodwaters recede? Will the overflow streams in Athens continue rising? Don't forget to subscribe and stay updated on this developing weather crisis affecting millions across Greece. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss critical updates as this severe weather system continues to threaten communities from the Peloponnese to Western Macedonia.